Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the full moon. It's on November 5th. It's at 13 degrees of Taurus, and these predictions are for Virgo or Virgo rising. So what we do is we take the full moon chart, and then because these are general predictions, I'm going to change the house system to a 0 Aries chart. Now I'm going to take the chart and I'm going to turn it so that Virgo is on the ascendant. And that's the chart that you see here. And so the first thing, of course, that leaps out at me is the fact that we've got both Mars here at 0 degrees of Sagittarius and Uranus at 0 degrees of Gemini, and they are both making a square to that Virgo energy. So this is a T-square. And while it may not be an orb in your chart, unless you're born very early in the Virgo time, this is still pressure on your sign. And so the pressure point is you, and the energy is to take action and make a change, take action and make a change. This is just a constant amount of adjustment. And that is something that you excel at anyway. You know, the energy of Virgo is kind of like when people do that jar illustration or jar analogy, and they put a bunch of rocks in the jar, big rocks, and then they say, is the jar full? You know, and then everybody says, yeah, it's full, and then they put in smaller rocks, and they say, okay, now is it full now? Yeah, it's full. And then finally, after smaller and smaller rocks, they get the bucket of sand. And they pour the sand in, and the sand finds the little tiny places that it can be, and that's Virgo. That is getting things down to that granular level of there's always some sort of adjustment that can be made. You know, the little tiny grain shifts, and then another little tiny grain can slide right in next to it. So that's the energy of constant adjustment. And so with this Mars Uranus, which is such a big lever, you know, of saying, okay, I'm going to do this differently, and everything's over here is going to change. It's that whole who was it, Archimedes, you know, give me a lever and a place to stand and I can move the world. That energy is very big, and you are the one who says, this is where I stand to move the world. This is the precise place that I do it. So this energy it's like you've got the fulcrum now to make some big change happen in your life. And it starts with a tiny little movement of setting yourself to say, every day I'm going to do one sit-up, or, you know, I'm going to take this out of my diet, or I'm going to write one paragraph and my novel will get done when it gets done. Those sort of things will make such a big change. Now, this energy is bigger than this 2 weeks. I just wanted to talk about it because this aspect's so highlighted during this full moon. Full moon times are much more about, you know, looking at the seeds you planted over the last 2 weeks and then doing the harvest. But it's a little bit overshadowed by this very powerful T-square. But here is that full moon, and it's lighting up this area of education. It's also about legal matters and foreign things, travel, etc. It's in a harmonious sign with your own, and so there may be an opportunity to take a trip. There may be some good news about school. This could be some positive news about a legal matter. So all of that, and that may be related to the whole Archimedes fulcrum lever thingy, but it's also possible that this is just a little spark of good news because of the seeds you planted previously. Now, in other news, and this is a longer aspect than just this 2 weeks also, and that is that Saturn and Neptune have gone back into Pisces, which makes them visible to you. So when there are planets in Aquarius and Aries, they're a little tougher for Virgo energy to see. Now, it's quite possible in your chart that you have Aries planets and that you have Aquarius planets, and so you don't have any trouble with this. But these two now, it's almost like they were a little bit hidden and now they come into view. And they're basically talking about creating some sort of plan or blueprint around how you connect with others. Partnerships, collaborations, mentorships, where you find the right teacher, you find the right guide. So, of course, these have been in Pisces for a while. They snuck into Aries briefly, and now for the rest of this year, they're going to be in Pisces. This gives you an opportunity to plan for how you're going to utilize this energy in the future when it goes into Aries. So this is kind of like getting that blueprint together that you're going to use in 2026. This can also mean that you're making some long-term plans with your partner, and that you might be looking at taking the relationship to the next level, or that the two of you are getting together because you're thinking about maybe moving at some point or doing something in 2026 or beyond. Now, when it comes to relationships, specifically new love, we're very concerned with Mercury and its relationship to Saturn. And there's not much going on between those two right now. Now, Saturn is in your house of relationships, but Mercury is snug at home, not really wanting to go out. And so it's possible that even if you're getting social invitations or somebody has been asking you out, that you say, let's just put it off. And that's probably wise for this time. This is only for a 2-week period, and then these energies will line up better in the future. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the energy is different because now we are concerned with Mercury and its relationship with Neptune, which is making an out-of-sign trine. So a trine energy, of course, really would facilitate you getting along with your partner. Being out of sign means it's a little bit surprising. It's kind of like coming together and you're doing a tango and they're doing the cha-cha, but one of you realizes that you're doing the wrong dance and you make the adjustment, and then there's harmony. So you come together, there may be a little bit of friction right at the beginning, and then you slide together in harmony. So this could be a good 2 weeks between the two of you. So when it comes to your money, you pull money from Venus, which at the new moon, that's the videos that I did 2 weeks ago or a week ago, that was an unaspected Venus, quite the maverick, quite the energy that was just all over the place. Now, this Venus is actually making aspects to quite a few planets in this chart, some of them out of sign, some of them in sign, and so there is more people you need to answer to, but also more connections and more help you can get, which could be very good. This Venus is in your house of money, which gives you a temptation to spend during this time. And so you might be spending on business things. You might be, buying new software, or, signing up for a new platform. You might be getting a printer, or, like spending money to make money is the possibility here. With an astrology reading, you get more information about who you are, your talents and abilities. You get to see what obstacles are ahead, and you can get a game plan for how to get past those obstacles and find success. So if you're interested in having a reading, there's a link in the description. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investing, we're looking at the relationship between Venus and Mars, and they are making an out-of-sign semi-sextile, and that indicates that Well, a semi-sextile normally is like being stuck in the back seat with your irritating brother who keeps poking you, and it's a really long ride to Yosemite. This is actually a harmonious aspect, but still semi-sextile. So now your brother is actually supportive and nice, and he offers you, a beverage, so you're still a little wary of each other. You're still trying to figure out how this is going to work, but there's more harmony than you expect. And that brings you opportunities to make more money over this 2 weeks, with maybe somebody giving you investment advice that you think, oh, I don't know how to do this, but you figure out how, or that you get more customers or clients for your business. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, then we're looking at the relationship between Venus and the moon, and there isn't one going on, except this is a Taurus moon, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, so you have a hidden aspect. And so that means that you may get an initial no about a raise you've been working on for a while, but that is not a solid no. That is actually the beginning of the conversation. That's where you're going to start to say, why is it a no? What can I do to change the no to yes? What is the thing that is holding back this thing that I want? So this is something where when you feel like there is nothing, that like you have no common ground, there's actually more common ground than you think. I just wanted to jump in really quick to say that my big class on predictions is coming up soon. It's on November 9th. We're going to be talking about the year of the fire horse as well as Western astrology predictions. And so if you are interested in what's ahead for 2026, then there is a link in the description with more information and to register.